Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. So there have been, some new trends in our society now. You have new words that I probably should have been doing this, but practicing social distancing, that could have been a version of what I used to do when I didn't feel like being bothered with people. But now that's actually a thing. Social distancing. Stay away from folks 6 feet and wear a mask and wash your hands repeatedly has become a thing in our society. Now, also, there's going to be limited seating in the stadiums this particular year. In an effort for college football to not be responsible for any spread of this pandemic. In the event of all of this, there have been some players that said, you know what, look, I'm going to sit this one out and not going to do it. Don't want to risk the health of my family, so I'm going to sit it out and we'll try this thing again next year. Now, when a decision is made like that, of course, when we're looking at this thing from the fan scope, and fan being short for fanatic, for short for crazy, we start to place some judgment on some things that if we were in the same situation, we probably wouldn't do the same thing. We're just looking at the fact that, okay, this particular player is not playing. We need them. They're not loyal to us. But whatever the fans may think, which is why they call fans fanatics. Now, in this particular case, we look at the Auburn Tigers, as have other teams across the nation, have had players that have opted out of the college football season this year. There are a lot of high school players that have said, no, I'm not doing it. NFL players, I don't know if any NFL players, too much, I can't think of any, because those jokers get paid. But the most recent one is redshirt sophomore linebacker Josh Marsh. And that's the second of the linebacker core for the Auburn Tigers. And the thing that we talk about, that we preach a lot about on this channel, is depth. The biggest area where this is concerning is the depth piece for the Tigers. A lot of folks will say, well, they weren't starters anyway. And see, that's where we got to get out of the first 11 mentality. The game goes beyond the first 11. If that's the case, you wouldn't have 100 players on the football team. It's for depth. It's for just in case. Just like you don't staff your organization for just one shift. You staff your organization for the just in case. And sometimes, let's just say, for example, the starter might not necessarily be more talented, but the starter is just a better fit. Okay? So when we look at this, that's where Auburn is hurting. That's where this will hurt a team, especially like Auburn. Now, good news is Auburn has done a very good job of recruiting the linebacker position. So I think Auburn will be okay. A little bit on the inexperienced side as you start going down the depth chart. But I think Auburn will be okay. But I just want you to know that depth is what is affected by something like this. Yeah, the first 11 I think it's pretty good. You got Owen Pappoe. You got, Owen Pappoe, KJ Britt, Zacoby McClain. I think you might be pretty good. Then you got Wesley Steiner and a couple of other guys coming off the bench. So you should be okay, but it's always good to have those guys to get those reps and all of those different things. So that's where it's affecting Auburn. Don't knock at all the decision. I mean, it's easy for us on the sidelines to say what a player should do. But the depth part of it is what can be costly down the stretch, be the difference between, winning a game versus Georgia or Alabama, making that key stop, those different things. All right, that's my time here again. Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Auburn Football, like the video, comment, and subscribe. It is always, I'm telling you, like dead ass, it's always great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.